starts with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers battling the Commanders or other regional action. Then, in America's Game of the Week, it's one of the biggest matchups of the year. Mahomes and the Chiefs taking on Jimmy G and the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey is now a 49er, you might recall. That trade happening, I think they gave away maybe 5 draft picks over a 2-year period.
If he can just stay healthy,
yeah. Check the games in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Maybe the change of venue will help McCaffrey and the 49ers as well. I think they have number 23 now.
Kendra Miller in the backfield for TCU as they look to even things up, and you can bet that after being on the sidelines as long as Duggan was, he wants to get going and get going quickly. That's Khalid Duke, number 29, with a stop after a gain of 6.
And I think they may try to do it and take their time on the ground and try to match. Again, that personality that you and I talked about off camera, and I think you may have asked Sonny Dykes this earlier, are you surprised or do you have a sense of how physical you can be if you have a long drive and get down into that red zone? How physical will you be? You're used to scoring from outside. That's a different beast down there.
In the outside zone, and that's Kendra Miller. He almost popped it. And all of that motion, Spencer, it gets the eyes of the defenders going in different directions, and then here comes the back right up the gut.
Now, Khalid Duke is the strong linebacker, had him in his grasp, but he watch him from the 29th, had him. He just comes right out of it. Boom. You got him right there, and he squeezes out. Boy, that guy really is a nice inline runner. Once he gets his hips squared, he gets up the field, and it's really tough to slow him down. I like his run.
Bethel is in the backfield now, along with DeMarcado.
And that high discipline here is going to be tough.
Yeah. Pressure coming, Duggan in trouble, and down he goes. And the pressure is coming off the edge. Nate Matlock. Matlock, young man out of Orlando, Kansas. Sophomore, 6'5", 245. And Glenn have been happy to see that. A loss of 14 yards.
Well, Andy Griffin never ran this fast. This Matlock right here, baby, is something else. He diagnoses that play and sets the edge and comes off of it really fast to make a great play. That's sweet there, brother.
The only other Matlack I remember is a baseball pitcher named John Matlack. Remember that name? Oh, baseball players. As DeMarcado gets out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 6. Stopped by Julius Brents.
I like the attitude, man. It's about physical. The game has changed right before our eyes, and there's a tactical battle going on here. I think both these teams respect each other enough not to get too far outside the lines, because if you're TCU, you're thinking, boy, this team has already shown us with their backup they can match us. Maybe you try to out-physical them at home.
Imani Bailey, the 4th different back transfer from the Raging Cajuns in Lafayette, is in the game. He'll take it right here on the little swing pattern, and he's out to the 38-yard line.
Duke Uzama, Timmy number 91, did a wonderful job of diagnosing this play and coming off of his intentional read. Watch 91 off the edge, and you see him come upfield. Facing, again, Brandon Coleman, that left tackle. Then he comes off of it, right? Did a wonderful job, or rather, and then on that left side, and then does a wonderful job of just doing the nice thing and diagnosing that play well.
And Udike Uzama has quite a future. Jordan Sandy will boot it away. End over in for the Aussie. Fair catch is called. And that's going to be a penalty. The ball, got to give him a yard. TCU claiming it's theirs, but they're going to be penalized anyway for being too close to the receiver after he had made the call for the fair catch. Flag came in a little bit late. They did, in case they did recover the fumble after it took place.
Kick catch interference, number 17 of the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout on the field.
That was Brooks that was calling for it, and clearly Battle was in there too, a little too close. If he had bad breath, he knew all about it, that's for sure. He was that close. Here, Spencer, that really seized control of this game with a short field.
Walking against this 3-man rush, they got a chance here.
And Paul is caught. That's DJ Giddens on the receiving end. He was isolated against the linebacker and made him pay. That's 26 yards.
Tim, before that play, did the Wildcats a 44-yard advantage, add that 26 to it. And again, in terms of total yards, they're in control of this game. It's amazing.
Nothing doing there. Pressure coming. It'll be second down and 10. Looking in the direction of Brooks. Well defended by Obi Izor. 206 total yards for Kansas State, Spencer, the old-fashioned way, and 144 for TCU in the game thus far.
Yeah, but the key to that inside the game is that Kansas State has more passing yards than TCU.
This looks like a broken play. It turns into a wheel route. A beautiful RPO. Howard almost had me thinking that was a broken play. No, it was an RPO, and he was using Vaughn on the wheel route. Or you can use him in a variety of ways. 22.
And Tim, again, 57. Johnny Hodges, the will linebacker. That's the matchup they like. We've seen it earlier. You can't cover Deuce Vaughn. Nobody can cover Deuce Vaughn in that situation. And Vaughn did an excellent job of settling down and let that ball drop. Howard took the punishment, but delivered a strike to number 22. I'm telling you, that's a nice little tandem right there.
Vaughn remains the setback. They're going to flank him out.
You need to get him wider. You need to get wider if you're going to.
Lofted it, caught it, touchdown, Sammy Wheeler. There's your third wheel right there. You mentioned it at the outset of the telecast. First touchdown for Wheeler this year.
You can see him right here, Timmy. Tight end. He's lined up on the inside, tight to the line of scrimmage, and he just drips, right? It's almost like a mini cover two. Where are the weak spots in that? Right up the seam. Just turns, presents his numbers, and Howard put it right on him. High pointing that ball, man. You guys looking at home, that's how you go up and high point that ball.
You see Urban Meyer today on Big Blue going over high pointing.
Yep.
Not all those All-Americans from Ohio State that he used to coach doing that today on the set.
Excellent.
Today for 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdown passes, and 1 touchdown rushing. 8 of 9, 185 yards, 201 total yards on 3 drives.
Yep.
I'd say Will Howard was ready when the call was made.
Yep, and look at the anatomy of those drives. We talked about the 10-play drive that took 4:55. That last 4-play scoring drive was just 15 seconds. So whether they sustain the drives or they get them quickly, they've been able to score either way.
Again, with the wind, you can bet this is going to be a touchback. It is impacting the way this game is going to be called as you look at Sonny Dykes. His team was in a very similar position this time a week ago. Started slowly, you might recall, fell behind, stayed behind, and at one point down 24-7 before making an incredible second half comeback. And you know Duggan is going to remain patient back there, no question about it. But this is eerily similar.
And I thought they
would win this last week.
Yeah, I thought they never would come back against that number against Oklahoma State because you know they could create and structure points. If there's a schemer out there, it's Coach Gundy. He certainly knows how to score, but they kept their poise. I will say this though, Tim, the difference is this team is oriented toward early hours. This is a night game. Been a long time since they had it. They're usually done by 11 o'clock.
Duggan. Incomplete. Hung up in the air for a while for Quentin Johnston and allowed the Sincere Mason the time, number 9, to come over and bring it up.
And Quentin Johnston's got to be mindful too. I know he's looking back at that ball, but when you turn to see the ball, you know what the coverage is over the top. You can see Mason back there. And so you got to get that calibration working in your mind. Say, hey, this guy's probably closing. This ball is hanging a little bit. So what does that mean? You got to go attack that ball. Go high pointed and attack it to prevent a possible interception. Nice.
Miller. Only a yard and a half, perhaps. Nick Allen, 52 with the tackle.
Nice game tackle right there. I love these guys, the inside backers, the middle linebackers in particular. We've seen Daniel Green, 22 for 52. Nick Allen is a beast in there. Well, it's a pretty good back. Andrew Miller, the starting running back. He's a solid inside guy, but they will rotate him right now because they've had some injuries. They've been nicked up at that linebacker core.
Third down and 8. Ducking across the middle. Dangerous pass. It was tipped. Davis, the intended receiver, Sincere Mason was right there. That was a very dangerous pass. Could have been going the other way.
And see, that ball was not hung up there like the previous one was, Tim, but it's the same thing. If you put the ball high where a safety or whoever's eye in the ball can close on it, that's a potential interception waiting. And the receivers has got to be mindful of that as well.
Jordan Sandy will punt it away. And then, wow, from Australia, he really was very fortunate to get it away. And will take a very healthy TCU bounce to help his stats. That was dangerous, no question. He gets 41 yards on it. This is a young man, and by the way, hit some that landed inside the 20.
That's why I haven't been talking. I can hear you.
Yeah, what?
I said it can hear you talking because it's recording. Uh-oh. On a gap.
The plug-and-play aspect of this offensive scheme that Colin Klein has put together. Did a wonderful job of building in such a way where he doesn't miss a beat.
Boy, I loved our conversation with him earlier this week. He is tried and true at Mini Manhattan as a player, assistant coach, and now coordinator.
Nice job.
There's that zone read. Howard knows right where to go.
Howard was so open, the turf monster almost got him, man.
And by the way, that's the kind of play Colin Klein specialized in right there.
You're 6'5", Timmy, and you're 235. You know, he's got the ball seated properly, but look at him. Kind of stumbles out of it, right? Good job of getting as much yard as he possibly can. You don't expect the quarterback to become a running back, but you need him in this offensive scheme to be able to go get those open yards.
From the 45-yard line. And again, the clock just goes tick, 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 and those precious opportunities for TCU's offense go slipping away. Here's jet sweep action to Warner. And Warner gets it into TCU territory. They'll give him the 47, maybe 48-yard line of TCU before pushing it back. There's Colin. Hard to believe that in 10 years and that much growth, both with his beard as well as his coaching game, he's really improved and meant a lot to that man, Adrian Martinez, who unfortunately could not go after one series tonight. And Will Howard, who you know didn't get as many snaps but knows all about the Kansas State philosophy, has taken over, and they have not skipped a beat. 2nd and 3. Vaughn. Double deuce. Look out. There's no stopping him. Give him 6. Touchdown, Wildcats. I mean, he had his head on that pylon, and he was going to get there. Even though the defender had the angle, he was going to get there. Abe Kamara could only get to him at about the 4-yard line, but Vaughn was like shot out of a cannon and vaulted himself into the air.
13 plays ago, I told you 22 was going to take over the game. He has to, mainly because Martinez is out in that two-man game to work effectively. Howard's done a nice job of stepping in, but 22 is the elixir, man. He's the one that stirs this drink here.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. And the maestro, Dr. Howard, the quarterback, is calling up all the right shots. Oh,
he's a sergeant major.
Yeah, we applaud Mike's service.
Yep,
even,
absolutely.
Right, before, during, and after, we do. Look at that scoring drive. Quick again. Deuce Vaughn does the iron. And another touchback. Ball will come up with a 25. Let's go back to it. Deuce's 29th career touchdown rushing.
Well, Tim makes a 47-yarder. Again, it's an inside zone, and he finds a nice job of getting in there and hugging that out down block and then getting up the field. I mean, just running away from guys right here. I mean, number 22 didn't need to have some of those phone booth moves that defines his game, Tim. Martinez is looking on with a nice little nudge in it, and everybody's agreeing, right? Yeah, that's strong right there.
That puts him, yeah, Kleiman's loving it too.
Yep.
That puts him 6th overall in Kansas State history, Spencer. The top 2 in touchdowns rushing, Colin Klein with 56 and Darren Sproles with 45. We just passed Josh Hubert. And is now moving in on Daniel Thomas for 5th all time.
Nice.
Duggan's pass is caught just shy of the 40 by Tay Barber. And Spencer, it's go time now for TCU. If they're going to mount another comeback similar to last week, they need to start right now.
Yeah, they do, Timmy, and they need to be able to attack vertically.
Miller, and he spun down at about the 43-yard line. We'll give him 4.
I just think the anatomy of the way Kansas State has been able to score, being able to match, your confidence is sky high right now. You got to strike fast, as has been TCU's way all season long.
2nd down and 6. Brad Miller remains the setback. We'll take it. Quick carries. Ended that time by Kobe Savage, number 2.
And the beautiful thing about Kobe Savage, they're playing a cover 2 scheme, Timmy. He comes from that safety position all the way down, diagnoses that run play, and Kobe is right there. The guy's only 5'10", 206. But, you know, I tell you what, he looks down that Gary Wright is trying to find some solutions for their offense to get this thing going. But right now, Joe Kleinerman's defense is playing at a high level, and they are content to stay in that cover 2, and you got to make them come out of it.
1st and 10, option to the right side. Nothing doing forward.
Chasing now.
Running and chasing, sideline to sideline, making plays. As this time it's Julius Brents, 23. He's a corner to keep an eye on. He's got great size, speed, and is as physical as they come.
Really impressed with Joe Kleinerman. You know, we talked to him about what he's concerned about his team. He says, look, I only concern myself with a couple things, points and wins and losses. That's all that really matters to him. You know, some coaches get all tied up who's playing, who's not playing. That's more a function of what's happening on the offensive side of the ball. But this guy right here is zero-sum. We're either winning or we're losing.
He loves his secondary. I think he believes they can match up with any crossing right here. There it is underneath. Johnston lost it. Just dropped it. He wanted to get started, took his eye off the ball and dropped it.
And you got Nick Allen back there, a middle linebacker, who you're going to count run, right? You can see they got Bell technique on the outside corners, and then Simon is kneel because the shallow crossing route comes in full. The nearest defender is 52, Nick Allen. I like 1 against 52, but if the ball isn't caught, man, that's negated.
Imani Bailey back in the backfield again. Out of the shotgun with trips down to the bottom of your screen.
See, here's the problem. It's 3rd and forever, Tim, and you've got a 3-man rush. And look at all the defenders back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defenders back behind the 50-yard line. This is a coverage nightmare.
So they run against it. All the ball was lost in midair and recovered by a lineman in midair. That was Avila, Steve Avila, the All-America prospect. Just got his AP midseason All-America notice halfway through the years. Bailey lost this one on the hit.
He sure did lose it.
That was Austin Moore that hit him.
And it bounced right off Steve Avila's head. Right off his head.
So here we go on 4th down. 4th and 5. Sonny Dykes loves to go on 4th down.
Personnel group is in there. They're short-handed right now. That 7's got to get off the field.
3 wide receiver set.
Stayed in cover 2. That's dangerous.
Duggan over the middle. It's incomplete.
Well,
short hopped it. That pass was for Barber, and it was thrown underneath.
Yeah, Tim, that's where you got to know where the sticks are. If you're going to stay in that situation, but for the ball being thrown incomplete, that ball should have been caught. It had been one hopped it, but you know what? That was a great thought process there because Kansas State was in a cover 2 scheme and it dropped at least 6 yards behind the sticks. I mean, that's a pitch and catch, automatic 1st down if it's executed properly.
Well, Spencer, that should indicate to you how important Sonny Dykes thought that drive was before halftime to go on 4th and 5.
No question.
Duggan's upset with himself. I thought for a moment that ball could have been tipped by a defensive lineman, but it really wasn't. It just came in a little short. Tay was unable to bring it in.
And the problem is the number of possessions are going to decrease.
Yeah. Knowles makes the bubble screen and gets out ahead for maybe 2. If that.
See, the thing here is Kansas State is comfortable playing small ball. They're comfortable taking some shots with their tight end. We've seen that. They've got big playmakers, even though Martinez is out. We've seen Deuce score from 47 out on the ground. They've got other receivers. We haven't seen as much from Knowles and company. We will see something.
No gain on the play. It was actually out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. Howard stopped. He chose to keep it, and Jamoy Hodge was right there to wrestle him down, the junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You see those slow starts we touched on. Trail 24-7 late second quarter. Here they are, down 18 late second quarter.
Patience is a virtue tonight. I really believe that. You don't panic. But I just think when you look at the aggregate, this is a night game once again. Your orientation in terms of practice being done pretty much by 11:30. Everything about what they're doing now is totally antithetical to how they set up themselves for the season.
Third down 11. Howard.
Nice vision.
So little, if anything, accomplished on that drive. Winters comes up with the stop, and it's a 4th down bump formation.
And that's not what you don't want right there. Again, Howard, not with the speed that Martinez has to get to that corner and turn it as a result of that. And to get the ball right back to a team that can strike really quickly.
That is the first drive that Howard has not completed with a touchdown.
Yep, and that's a problem. And what you're looking for on defense, you say, what can we do to stop them from doing what they have been doing successfully? And that is an example of it right there.
Darius Davis in single safety. High end over in blue. They'll grab it. Fair catch at the 8-yard line.
There's a body flying around there now. Yeah, Riley's looking to get something going here. I tell you, he's a dead ringer for his brother, man. They need
Close your eyes.
Sands the beard.
Yeah.
Sands the beard.
Yep.
That's Lincoln right there, man.
Asked him if they talk off. He said, maybe once every 2 weeks. We're a little busy, you know.
Yeah. He's got his own idea.
I said,
I respect that.
I said, yeah. He said, what are the questions? He said, well, how the kids? What you would expect. But
Got great DNA, though, man.
he sure does. And Sonny, of course, with his air raid pass being what it is, and his CEO approach, Sonny Dykes is absolutely the modern day blueprint for coaching college football. I mean, he really is. Kendra Miller, look at him go. The ground game, Kendra. Longest run from scrimmage of the night. That's Sierra Mason that made the tackle.
Well, this junior from Mount Enterprise, Tim, is something special. I really liked him and watching film on him this last couple of weeks. And the thing I like about him, you see the presence of mind, the stiff arm with that hand, and to separate himself. He's got speed on the top end as well. I mean, he's a really tenacious runner. Love this kid.
He had a big game against Kansas State last year, 102 yards. Carries it again, spun down at the 39-yard line. He had 4 catches in that game as well at Kansas State. Moving to that. Well, Duggan, you see the numbers on him right now. This is a kid, it's an incredible story, Max Duggan. Grew up a Notre Dame fan in Council Bluffs. Many believed that he'd go there. But TCU was one of the few others that came after him that he loved. He absolutely loved the environment here, and that's the reason he chose him over many other bigger brands. Looking on the post pattern, it's Johnston! Incomplete. And great coverage, closing coverage by Josh Hayes, who's that free safety Spencer, who has cornerback skills.
Yeah, well, Brendan Mott, number 38, is the guy that got past Brandon Coleman, 77, Tim, and got pressure back there. That ball was thrown exceptionally well. Again, a couple of ones going forward just beyond the reach. Here's the off the ball scrimmage look. Here's a nice little in cut, driving to that hole in the middle of the field, just beyond his reach.
They were step for step, Parker. Over the middle and caught. That's Spivey. York Wallace Spivey with the reception. This is a kid out of Monroe Richwood High School, 6'5", 245. He was very impressive in the second half last week. And that was Josh Hayes that was hobbling off the field after that 20-yard gain. We'll see the passing yards. Walton, that's a fade, and it is incomplete. Trent battled the intended receiver. It hung in the air a little longer, I think, than Max would have liked. Good coverage again, those Pence.
Julius Branch is a guy. Watch him, number 23, Timmy, squat out here. And he turns and camps inside and then runs and bails and actually takes his eyes off the ball and then just anticipates where the ball might be. That's an instinctive play right there. Doesn't even turn around and find it. And I tell you what, that guy is athletic. They can put him anywhere on the field that will flip him to the best receivers on either side. Brent is a baller. And you can see the length and the instinct right there helping on that play.
Senior out of Indianapolis. DeMarcado. Stopped at the 19. That's a gain of 4. Mason making the tackle.
Hey, give both these teams credit for strategically finding the spots that they can attack and have success, because the matchups have been just spot on. Very few misses with respect to the strategy for both these ball clubs.
This is a critical third down right here.
Huge third down. I just want to see if they can make them come out of this. Yeah. The crowd is quiet for a reason. Kansas State has done a wonderful job of matching up. They're going to stay in a cover 2. Let's see if they can defend.
5 out of 9 on third downs. This could be 4-down territory again. There's the look in. It's Johnston. First down at the 10. That's a 9-yard gain. Move the sticks. Should be first and goal.
I think these safeties are going to have to do a better job of squatting shallower than they typically would in cover 2, Tim. They're between 8 and 12 yards deep. They may have to come down to 9. Otherwise, that slant is going to be there all night.
Before I went down in our pregame, Spencer, to chat with Sonny Dykes, I actually asked you, what would you most want to know from Sonny on game night? And you said, what are your plans in the red zone?
Yep.
We know you can score from anywhere, but what about against this defense in the scoring zone? Miller stopped at the line of scrimmage here, and he's still on the ground. Brandon Mott, 38, the defensive end, junior out of Iowa City, Iowa, with the tackle.
Need Miller to get up. Miller's kind of hobbling a little bit. They don't need 33 to get hurt. He needs to be healthy. But Tim, you bring an excellent point up. And again, this is a different place where they don't spend a great deal of time.
Yeah. Quentin Johnston with a very slow start. A couple of drops. Did catch a very critical pass here moments ago. But he's been bewildered by this K-State secondary.
And you can tell by the play selection, they got his tandem receiver partner out there blocking for him, trying to cut him loose. The outcut routes he's able to run on either side are outstanding. But if you're not executing and getting the ball right in his hands, you know, he's not going to be as productive. I don't care how long he is. I mean, the guy's a freak in terms of his size and his ability to make plays. I mean, his route running is unbelievable for a guy that tall, Tim. He breaks like he's 5'10" as opposed to 6'5".
Well, this is life at the top of the scouting report he's finding out tonight. DeMarcado, the setback. Duggan tries to get free, calls his own number, and is thrown down around the 4-yard line, maybe the 3. Sincere Mason will be credited with the tackle. They'll mark it at the 4.
Well, he's the eraser, is Duggan, again, because he can run the ball and he's got great speed, Tim. He can be the difference down here in the green area now, 5 yards in.
Well, timeout taken by TCU. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns this year. And he's the other guy that you got to account for, as you see.
Garrett wants to get him
his
in
guys
there.
over.
Yeah. He wants as much time as he possibly can to diagnose. Because again, once again, Tim, they're not down here very often. We asked them that exact question. Great problem to have when you're able to score from out. But you know what? You better know the identity of your ball club in these physical moments here. This is foreign territory inside the 5.
You know, I get the feeling, Spencer, with this offense, and particularly given the circumstances of running back, you might be looking at either Wiley or D'Annunzio. Remember that kid made the winning touchdown catch against Baylor?
I'm looking at quarterback draw right here.
All right.
Quarterback draw or something formation-wise to get them wide. They go tight formation of 21 personnel. Looks like they got
2 tight ends.
2 tight ends. So yeah, so they're in big body personnel, but I try to get those guys spread out a little bit and run draw.
DeMarcado, the
Some
whole
side
side
of the left side too. You got a nice run there or draw, either one.
Johnston in motion. Play fake. There it is. The tight end one.
Wow. Good job, Jim. Jimmy B.
Well, you know, I work with one of the best predictors in the business. That's the fourth touchdown reception for Jared Wiley, and he was wide open.
Well, you can see here, he's in the innermost of those two guys. Wiley is 6'5", just drifts and sits down, right, in the end zone. But that's like stealing right there.
That's Duggan's 18th pass for a touchdown. And Spencer, that is exactly what they had to have happen on that drive.
They needed to, and I think the thing about it is they did it without having to go with quarterback draw, because heretofore, 16-15 would have been their best asset, right, in terms of scoring because of his ability to run, if you can spread defenses out. But when you got a 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" tight end, man, that can get in the end zone like that, you can throw the ball high and let it go get it. I think you go there every time. Great play selection by Garrett Riley to his tight end.
Well, TCU won the toss, you might recall, Spence, which means what? They defer. Kansas State receives, which means what? TCU will get the ball to open the second half. So that touchdown, with little time remaining, gives them some added strength
And
going into the locker room.
Absolutely, and it's the anatomy of it. Once again, 10 plays, 91 yards, 10. They hit up a little bit of clock. And you start to answer any questions. If it's in the back of your mind, can we score down here? Can we be physical? Yes, we can. We threw it to our tight end. Maybe we didn't get it via the ground. Maybe that's the next option. You get receivers or defenders down there covering your tight end, and maybe you slip inside zone or something in there. So the chess match is on right now. Love this game.
Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Chris Peterson are standing by for the halftime show. We'll be going to you, fellas, in just a few moments. This is kind of a pooch kick. It is taken by one of the upbacks, Phillip Brooks. Down he goes at about the 27, 28-yard line. And a little refresher course on the standings. This is a battle between the two top teams in the Big 12 at the midpoint of the season. Oklahoma State, already a winner today. They came from well behind Texas to win in Stillwater. And look how far the Sooners are down the line. Ooh, boy,
That's foreign territory, man. I'm not used to that.
and you know what, Spencer, Iowa State is 0-4 in the league, and they've been in almost every game. This league is so balanced from the bottom up. It's really incredible.
I just think it underscores those two coaches appreciate in their own unique ways the power of the transfer portal. They can change the fortunes of a team quickly.
How about the half Will Howard had, huh? Coming in for Adrian Martinez after one series. These teams have already combined for 570 total yards. Chris Peterson said it would be a shootout before the game got started. I don't think he's going to be too far from wrong there. Kansas State with 304 total yards, 266 for TCU. So there you have it, Coach Peterson. The announcers are listening to you. Let's take you back to our studio, the State Farm Halftime Show. Mike Hill, how do you do?
How do you do? Welcome to the State Farm Halftime Show alongside Chris Peterson, Emmanuel Acho. I'm Mike Hill. Adrian Martinez, you saw him